How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all keeping well, and welcome back to another RTA League Racing video in the Formula V's. This time it's round 7 at Snetterton, but last time out at Cadwell Park. If you missed that one, make sure you check it out now. We didn't have the greatest round, but with a smaller grid than usual, still got some fairly alright points. And looking at the standings here now, you can see moved up one spot into 14th place, just ahead of Jordan Kelly. Up at the top, Dylan still leading the way over Conor Melia and Travis in third place. So looking ever more secure for Dylan to take this championship at the end of the next round. But for this one at Snetterton, some wet conditions to contend with. So with that, let's head into qualifying. So at the start of qualifying here now, and as you can see, everybody tearing to get out onto the track in a train, because slipstream is very important around this track to get the best lap time. So skipping on then to towards the end of the session, you can see it's not raining at the moment, but the track is still fairly damp. Bit of a dry line form, which does mean the end of the session will give the best track conditions. Through turn 1, I think was pretty much flat out there, maybe a little bit of a lift in these conditions. Into turn 2 then, down into second gear, up to third on the exit of turn 3, and we have Peter McCann right ahead, who's going to give us a lovely tow the whole way down this back straight, which is very nice of him to do, as you can see in the delta up on the top, just gaining a lot of time compared to my previous best lap. Could have got a bit of a better tow there, just bit too close to Peter coming out of that corner before, but very appreciative of that slipstream. Into the Nelson section then, my least favourite corners on that track, on this track, but managed to get through it nicely. Through the second to last real corner then, a little bit of a lift there I think, making sure to not get onto the wet patches off the racing line, and then through the long right hander heading into the final braking zone of Murray's. Braking in a straight line, hitting the apex and using as much track as I could on the exit, but wasn't too sure if the grip would be out there, so wasn't fully confident on the throttle, but coming across the line, going to improve my previous best by just under a second to set a 129.9 up into P6 at the time. And that was my last lap of the session, but on my in lap I decided to return the favour to Peter, give him a tow on the back straight as well. I don't know if it helped his time on that last lap, but at least I tried to return the favour to him. So Peter, I know you watched these, thanks for the towing that one. I hope it might have helped you as well. But at the end of that session then, dropped down to 12th, so like I said, the track getting better and better as the session went on, and didn't really time it right with not getting a lap right at the end. But just 6/10 off pole, Peter Brett pole position, Sean McClemens in second, and then Travis in third. So very close session considering the conditions. I know it was fairly dry at the end, but it was drying throughout and not the easiest conditions to get a clean lap in. So going to start race 1 from P12, and hopefully we can keep it clean and move up a couple of spots. Getting ready to go here for race 1 then. As you can see, the rain has returned, the track a lot more damp than it was at the end of qualifying. As the lights go green, even in the slipperier conditions, we still get a very good start. Getting the jump on Rory O'Shea on the run into turn 1, and we are ahead heading in there. Kevin Joyce not getting the best start from a bit further up the grid, and we managed to find the grip around the outside of turn 1 and get that move done. Turn 1 in these conditions, you definitely don't want to be too close to the apex, so running a bit wide there does give you a bit more grip, and you're able to carry more speed than someone on the inside line. Turn 2 then, tried to go a bit wider to open up the exit to get a good run onto this straight, but that allowed Kevin to get down the inside of the hairpin, so had to leave him room on the exit of turn 3 onto this straight, and now he has the momentum, has the slipstream up ahead. I have a bit of a tow as well, but not as good I don't think. Kevin pulls back ahead, we're coming under pressure from Brandon McCotton as well down our inside, and I decide to pretty much just let Brandon go there. Didn't have any choice in letting Kevin go or not. just wanted to keep it clean in these tricky conditions at the start of this first race. Up ahead then, Kevin gets a bit checked up by I think Sean McGoldrick having a bit of an issue, as we get a tap then from Kevin going through the right hander. I look back at the replay of that and it was just neck code, I think. But I see in the mirror Emma Dempsey going for a dive down the inside, and I'll be honest, when I saw her in the mirror I thought, oh fuck, she's after making a mess of this, she's not able to slow down the car, and she was just heading off into the barrier. But looks like it was a move that she meant to do and got stopped nicely, so fair play to her there, very nice move. We did manage to get the run back on her down the pitch straight into turn 1, but weren't able to get past as Rory O'Shea gets past the two of us, him getting the better exit out of that final corner with Emma going for the overtake, and I had to compromise my line a bit to not turn in so she'd run into the side of me. Rory being very opportunistic there as we head onto the back straight again. Don't get the greatest exit, and you can see in the mirror Dermot Toomey in my slipstream, Jordan Kelly alongside Dermot as they're two abreast. We jump back further on board with Niall Lahey, who's making it 3 wide along the back straight and still somehow ahead and heading into the next turn and braking zone. I managed to stay ahead. In the mirror you can see Niall ended up going for a spin. Conor Mealy is off the track facing perpendicular to the racing line as well, and somehow out of all of that, instead of losing places, which it looked like I was going to, we ended up gaining 1 on Conor. But we're going to lose that again pretty quickly. Jordan getting a good run out of the final corner round. Just like I mentioned on turn 1, the outside line is better in these conditions in turn 1, but it's not better if you run a bit wide just like Jordan did. He did very well to save that, I have to say, but we get the run back. Try to have a look around the outside of the hairpin, but going way too deep. Alongside Jordan then on the exit, we managed to get back past him, but Ronan Hederman now ahead of the two of us, getting the switch back on us there. So very good move by Ronan there, and not the best sequence for myself. Ronan then out of the final corner, as I think that's Kevin Joyce out on the left on the grass, we get past him. Ronan doesn't have a great run through the final turn, and we're after just pulling alongside and just about ahead of him. On our left hand side we have Ryan Coon, who got a better exit than the two of us. Blinking a bit, so wasn't too comfortable with going 3 wide into here. Ryan broke later than us. Ronan, I think we kind of broke it around the same point, and we managed to get the move there on the outside line once again, proving that that is where you want to be at this stage of the race. Go into the hairpin, Ryan up ahead locks up and goes deep. I follow him pretty much, and once again, just like on the last lap, Ronan gets a bit of a switch back and gets back past us. So very eventful opening couple of laps to this first race here in Snetterton. These conditions are going to do that, and now we are ahead on lap 5. Up ahead, Ronan gets it a bit wrong. He runs into, I'm not sure who that was, I think it might be Sean McGoldrick, but we did make contact with Ronan. Luckily we didn't get any damage and gained those 2 spots. Then gained another one from Jamal Gandor going for a spin. Jamal had a very good qualifying, and he was holding a pretty good position up until that mistake there. And then we skip ahead once again, and we are coming under pressure from Evan Dalton. He had the outside line that time, but the track kind of getting a bit better. I was able to carry enough speed on the inside to hold that position. Fast forward along then, weren't able to hold it for too long. The slipstream down this straight, too powerful, and not too much I could do to keep Evan behind. And then in the braking zone, just locking the rears ever so slightly and sending me off into the grass. Luckily managed to keep it out of the barrier and rejoined the track nice and safely, but dropped from P7 there all the way down now into P13, and again making another mistake on the exit of the final corner. Just had a bit of a slide going in, tried to get on the throttle, then had another slide and lose another 2 places. As we're on the final lap now, Conor Mealy having another spin there. We get past him. We're also after getting past Jamal on the entry into that hairpin. So gaining gaining 2 of those places that we lost back. And now on the last run down this back straight in this first race, we're in the slipstream of Brandon McCotton, and I decided I was going to try and go for it. The inside line, I'm not really too sure if this is where you want to be, because it turns to the outside then for the next corner. And yeah, just didn't really have the confidence to try and brake later there. Brandon braking much later than I did and managed to hold that position. And yeah, just didn't get the exit then. Running a bit wide, that's going to give Travis the opportunity to carry the momentum down the inside, and are going to lose another spot just at the end of this final lap. Heading into Murray's then, braking for the final time. We locked the rears, or I don't know if it's really locked the rears or hit a wet patch, but we luckily managed to save it. Rory O'Shea was after having an error there on the exit, so we managed to get past him as we come up to cross the line to end a very eventful opening race here in Snetterton in P13. So was 1 place lost from where I started, 20 seconds pretty much behind Dylan, who got up into his natural habitat of first place. Sean McGoldrick there in second, and Peter Brett in third. So considering how chaotic that race was, 13th place isn't really the best result. Just a couple of too many errors myself, nothing too major, just the one into Nelson, but just a few too many little slides, and definitely could have got more from this race. So have to make up for it in the second race to try and get into a top 8 reverse grid position. On the grid then for race 2, and as you can see, the rain has stopped falling. As we get going, you will see that there is still a good bit of water on the track, a good bit of spray from the cars up ahead, so not fully dry conditions just yet. Didn't get the greatest start there. Travis directly ahead got a bit of a jump on me, but luckily the cars behind didn't get a good enough start to challenge me into turn 1. So we can hold position. The exit of turn 1, Ross Wheatley going a bit wide there, so we carry more momentum than him when we get past. Down the inside of the hairpin, we're also putting Travis under pressure. Someone gone for a spin there, we gain another place. I'm not sure who that was, but doesn't really matter, we gain another position. In the slipstream then, along the back straight for the first time, and really I'm just looking to pretty much stay where I am, stay out of trouble and settle into this race nice and calmly. Try and get the heart rate down a bit after the madness that was the first race. So into Nelson, having a bit of a slide there, you can see you're correct. Turning right into a left-hander, and we don't get the greatest run there. Jordan putting me under pressure. He had a bit of an overlap, but not enough to try and make a move into the next corner. Jordan, one of the fastest and one of the smartest drivers in RTA, so you never really expect him to go for a 50-50 lunge, especially when he's driving on controller, which I think he was in this race, which is a little bit depressing that he's on controller and he's still as fast as I am. End of the first lap then, all sorts of madness at the final corner. I don't know how many places we're after making up, but as we cross the line to start lap 2, we're 3 by 3 heading into turn 1, so 6 of us in about a tenth and a half. I didn't really want to have much, if anything, to do with that, so backed out probably a bit too early there just to stay safe and live to fight another day. Hope they all take each other out up at the next corner or something and I can make a few places back. But well, they don't all take each other out, but I think there's 2 or 3 are gone wide there. Yeah, a bit of a wheel bang from Travis going through turn 3, which is all fair, nothing really in that, just hard racing. Yeah, think we were going to get a move on Brandon McCotton there, but the poor exit with the battle with Travis means he gets through. Conor Melia trying to recover from a poor, by his standards, first race, gets run into this right-hander, or left-hander, makes him right, left and right, so he gets that place back. So I think I've lost a couple of places on this race, in this race, on this lap, but still facing in the right direction. All the important parts still attached to the car and still very close, so definitely opportunity to try and make a couple of more places. through this long right-hander, then taking a bit of a wider line just to straighten the braking zone into the final corner, which I feel like probably was the right decision. Jordan trying to accelerate on the AstroTurf and the curb there, just not enough grip, and he ends up losing the back end and spinning off into the grass. Into turn one then, Ross had a bit of a look up the inside, but he ended up not really going for it. I still ended up carrying a bit too much speed, going wide, hitting the puddle on the exit curb and going off into the grass. Luckily didn't spin out completely and was able to keep going side by side then with Rory O'Shea into turn 3, and we managed to hold it for the time being as we make our way down this long straight now. I had the slipstream from Ross, but Rory still managed to get a better slipstream from me, dived it down the inside and didn't really feel like fighting that one on that occasion. Just let him have it, and hopefully we can try and make up these 2 positions that we've lost in this lap further on in this race, as Rory gets a 2 for 1 there, getting past Ross Wheatley as well. So not the greatest lap there on lap 3, and now we skip ahead on the end of lap 4 into the final corner. We get a nice run through the final corner and now in the slipstream of Ross. And as we've seen so far throughout this video, if you're close enough on this straight out of the last corner, it's pretty easy to get a move done into turn 1. Still side by side into the first corner, but we just have a nose ahead, and with the favourable outside line carrying just a little bit more speed than Ross, and we get clear on the exit up into P8. Gain another position then on lap 5. That was Dara Halley after making a mistake, so we get an easy move on him. And then again on the very next lap, lap 6, we get past Ryan Kuhn, who is a lap down, and very nice of him to let me back through. But to be honest, I was happy enough if he would have stayed ahead, because he is a very fast driver, and you can see here he's still right behind me a couple of laps later. I do a little bit of a wiggle just to show him that I was okay with him going past. And maybe if he's a bit faster than me, I can try and use him in the slipstream to gain a bit of time on the cars ahead. But on the start of the very next lap with the slipstream, I got a bit of a better exit out of the last corner as well, and pretty much had to just go for the move there. If not, I was going to lose too much time. Get another place then as we head on to the final lap. Sean McGoldrick off the track, and then just a couple of miles later we come across the line to finish race 2 in a very surprising P5. So yeah, just shows that keeping it clean around here in this round is going to just mean that you get some good results. Travis taking the win there, he started alongside me on the grid, so he had a clean one as well. Evan Dalton, a very good result for him, getting a podium. Evan, usually the commentator for RTA, but with no streams this season he's decided to do a few races, so fair play to him, showing good pace in these Vs. And then Sean McClemens and Conor Mealy too, that are always showing good pace in these cars and any cars in RTA, in 3rd and 4th. So one more race here in a very wet Snetterton. Let's see how it goes. So reverse top 8 means P5 in race 2 converts to P4 on the grid for race 3, as Sean McGoldrick just up ahead goes before the lights, so jump start by him. The lights go green and don't get the greatest start. Conor Mealy in P5 gets the jump on me, and we're going to jump on board now with Sean McClemens behind into turn 1. Sean just going in a little bit deep, clips my rear right tyre, and that has given me damage on the rear end of my Formula V car. But I don't think it's overly serious and shouldn't mean that we have to come into the pits for repairs or anything like that. Just might affect a bit our pace a small bit throughout this 20-minute race. As out of turn 2 there's a big crash there, and I think I can't actually remember if we've got more damage from that or not. If we didn't, we got very lucky, and as you might have saw at the start of this video, the little clip was from that incident. And yeah, I even tried to avoid that and duck out of the way in real life for that one. So big incident there. Luckily we are still somewhat surviving. Damage on the rear from turn 1, maybe more damage from that one, and just a lot happening on this opening lap. After losing a good few positions, I think might be down into P5 or P6, so not the greatest start, but still a long way to go in this one. 20-minute race for race 3 in RTA, and the conditions definitely aren't any better than the previous race, probably even worse. So definitely opportunities to get places on other people making mistakes, as I make one of my own out of the final corner, just run a bit too deep, not able to get on the power, and losing another 4, maybe 5 positions on the pit straight heading down into turn 1. Through turn 1 then, Jordan Kelly just drifting a bit wide, makes contact with, I think it might have been Rory O'Shea, so we get past Rory there, who's off the track. Jordan managed to keep it on the black stuff, and he was ahead, but into turn 2 it just locks up. We managed to get down the inside, but Darragh O'Connor also takes that opportunity to go down my inside, so we gained 1 and we lost 1 there in those few corners, and find myself, I think it is in P9 now, but honestly not entirely sure. As we jump back on board with Ronan Hederman, myself just up ahead, and that is, I think it's Kevin Joyce alongside me. Kevin getting a bit good run, has the inside line heading into this left-hander. Ronan having a bit of a look, but we're able to keep it just ahead of him for the time being, as Kevin gets that place on myself. So another place down, and really now just want to hope that this race settles down a bit, get into a bit of a groove, and just kind of put in a few good laps for a couple of laps and settle down a bit. But Ronan isn't settling down the inside of this long right-hander into the final corner, and I kind of decided to back out. I didn't want to go on the inside through the final turn because I knew I'd lose out on the exit then. I was better off trying to just stay behind, but didn't get a good exit either. Jordan Kelly got a good one, he sends it down the inside of turn 1. Does he go a little bit deep? He does indeed, and we managed to get a bit of a switch back, as he's not able to get as much grip on the wetter patches on the outside. Into the second corner then, Darragh O'Connor goes deep. I kind of follow him now. We're side by side with Jordan Kelly on the exit. Just get back out in front of him. But as we see time and time again, slipstream is very powerful, so Jordan gets the extra speed, pulls alongside along the back straight, now side by side, or not even halfway down the straight now, and he's already a little bit ahead. So heading into the Nelson section of corners, he's already fully ahead, takes the racing line and claims that position. Into Nelson then, Jordan, he goes a bit wide. I have a bit of a slide as well, and probably could have got an overlap there heading into this right-hander, but not somewhere you want to be side by side really, so tucking in behind for now, and hopefully we can try and catch back up and get that place back later on. Later on is right now, as Jordan and Ronan go deep into turn 2, into turn 2, and through turn 3 I was just slightly ahead, and myself and Jordan make a little bit of contact. I go off the track, but you can see here on the replay there's no contact made between myself and Jordan. Complete netcode incident, so didn't think there was much in it anyway. Netcode makes it even less of an incident in my opinion, so just to put the head down and keep going. Sean McClemens, who we had contact with on the first lap of this race, managed to get past cleanly in turn 1, now on lap 6. Into turn 2 then, have a little bit of a lock up, luckily managed to keep it under control and don't run into the back of Sean, but Sean obviously one of the quickest drivers in RTA, so I was just hoping to try and stay with him in the tow like I've been doing with a lot of people throughout these races, and on the next lap we have done that around the same point of the lap. Peter Brett going off the track there, so we get past him. Conor Mealy up ahead, I think he's had some sort of an incident as well, going very slowly. Nearly run into him there through the right hander, but eventually get past. His car seems pretty wounded there, not like Conor to be going that slowly. Lap 8 then, the next lap into the second corner, just locking the rear brakes a bit and sailing off into the grass on the outside of the second corner. That allowed Peter Brett to get back past, dropping back into P11. The end of lap 8 then, start of lap 9 out of the final corner, get a really bad run, just wasn't able to get the traction on the wet parts of the track. Ross Wheatley getting a good exit, he managed to blast his way back past on the pit straight. Once again through turn 1, going a bit wide, and we get a bit of a switch back and get back past. Exit turn 3 then, lap 9 now, just a little bit later on in that lap, have a big moment. Luckily managed to save it and stay pointing in the right direction. Start lap 12 then, Dylan McClemens making his way back through up into P10. And then later on lap 12 we're going to jump on board with Peter Brett here. As he goes through the right-hander, Jordan Kelly alongside him, they make contact and it's a big crash there. Jordan going tumbling off into the grass. Really big incident there. We get a place because of that, obviously, and don't know what the story is with Peter at this point, whether he has damage or what's going on, but really big crash there into the final corner. Lose all grip, going full left side lock to stay pointing straight. As we come past the pit entry to start the final lap, Peter does head on into the pit, so clearly had some damage from that incident. And then a lap later we come across the line to finish race 3 in P9, so 5 places down from where I started, which obviously isn't great. You never want to be losing places, but considering the tricky conditions, not a terrible result. Travis taking the win ahead of Brandon McCotton, Sean McClemens rounding out the podium, and we looked at the likes of Ronan Hederman, Evan Dalton there in 5th and 6th. We were fighting those earlier on in the race, so I feel like there definitely could have been opportunity for a better result in this one, but throughout the last couple of seasons, wet weather hasn't been my strong suit, so to have very good results throughout this round in all 3 races is definitely a good improvement and great to see. And what this round means for the standings is that Dylan McClemens still leads the way over Conor Melia. 93 points between the two of them now, so I think Dylan pretty much has it sewn up now heading into the final round. Obviously 90 points available, but taking into consideration drop rounds, I don't think he mathematically has it in the bag, but a lot needs to go wrong for him and a lot needs to go right for Conor in the final round to overturn that deficit. For myself, up 1 place into 13th, the goal of a top 10, I don't think it's really going to happen. 45 points to Peter there in 10th place, so I think if we can try and get into the top 12 at the final race in Tsukuba, I would be doing well, and that's going to be the aim heading into round 8. But that is it for this video. I hope you did enjoy. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the season finale in Tsukuba. But until then, thanks for watching and see you then.